Mr. Keshe is going to be joining us shortly at 3 o'clock our time. And he's going to explain a little bit about the new systems to a lot of the people in our group here. Although we've been meeting for 6 years, a lot of people are new. A lot haven't followed the technology and don't understand exactly where we are. So it's great to have newbies here who can learn all about plasma from Mr. Keshe himself. Now, Mr. Keshe has been busy with this situation with his enhancement spaceship units for approximately 2 and a bit years now. We have gone from the body enhancement unit to this new unit, which is now a many generational unit from where the body enhancement unit was, because over the last 2 years, things have progressed in the lab to the point where now we're at the phase where people are coming to test the units. And the units are not just for health or well-being or finding our soul. The units are not just for transport and space flight. The units are the next generation, which will hopefully do it all. And so in this last week, we've had the first test subjects go through the system. And there were a couple of very interesting observations if you go onto YouTube and understand what these people experienced. What they got from the systems was what they put in. When they went in with the intention of doing something positive, they got something out. Where they went in just to get, they got nothing at all, which is quite interesting. And this is what we've always said with the plasma. If you give unconditionally, it pours back in. If you are only there to take, you, in a sense, by taking, you're blocking anything coming in. So that is where this technology is leading us. It's leading us to a place where we will have connection through soul and source, where, for example, the guy came in to go through the system. He was almost on the way out, and Mr. Keshe said to him, do you not want to travel? Do you not want to go to space and see the moon? His understanding was that immediately on that thought bubble of, yes, I should be going to the moon, he felt he was there. It was an instant movement from one place to the next. And so the fulfillment of the desire was there because he'd gone there to experience and to share with the machine and to understand what's going on. And so it became, he felt like the machine was trying to fulfill his wishes for him. That is what one of the participants had expressed this week. They've had people in there, brothers and sisters, husband and wife, these type of connections, and people wanting to speak to somebody who'd passed on, people who'd wanted to maybe help themselves with a problem in their bodies. We didn't hear from all of the participants because not all of them wanted to share publicly. But it's this kind of technology, when we look at it, there's a couple of ways that these test flights are shaping up to take us to space. Mr. Keshe has explained that the systems at the moment are going to get tweaked to the point of, if you are sitting in the unit, you are also somewhere else. Now, this is the hard part to believe. You're somewhere else to the point of, okay, if you're on the moon, if you want to scoop up a piece of moon rock and bring it back with you and manifest it while you're still sitting in that room, you will. Now, that is something obviously the machine will have to learn to do, or the machine will need to be tweaked to do. And the people, the pilots, the participants will have to understand what they're doing as well to make that achievable. So this is all in test phase. If you are looking at helping yourself because you're wanting to fix a problem with your body, you know, those kind of things is you are the one in control. Your soul is the one in control. And so how your body reacts to that is up to you. So with this flight system, it is not promising anything specific. It is saying that you can connect through your soul and you can then become the captain of your ship to drive that where you want to, but you have to do it with the correct intent. And at the moment, the Keshe Foundation is asking for various people to go through this system because the systems are learning at the same time as we are learning about the system. And the system needs to, as he says, it needs to have a fish in it, a dog in it, a cat in it, a cow in it, whatever needs to be in there, because it needs to understand the totality of our planet to support the totality on our planet, which is the test phase. So as much as we're learning from it, it is learning from us when I can. So let me just ask the live audience if they have any questions. Yes.
Yeah, I was interested in what you said about the giving and the taking. Could you explain a little bit more about what that actually means?
Okay, so with the plasma, we've understood that the strongest part of us is our soul, and it's the creator, the source of ourselves. But for the soul to be able to receive, it first has to give, because just like when you open your hand and you give, your hand is now empty to receive. If you are holding and grabbing, nothing can come in. And that is just a fundamental, it's a law. It's a fundamental truth about existence. So with universal community, with all the beings created, because our planet is such that for survival we've had to fight and grab and consume and eat and do all of these things, we have this battle with ourselves continuously to hoard and to keep and to grab, but it's not necessary in the universal law. If you give unconditionally, not necessarily physical things, but your love, your acceptance, your capacity to share knowledge and love and do it unconditionally, then everything can flow back in. So that is how all of creation does work, although we've been a bit confused about that living on this planet. And if we can just get more to that point, that's when we will be able to do these things so much easier. Any other questions?
Yes, I thought they were very interesting, but this thing you say it's a machine or anything, and we are a soul. Is there any danger in other beings that may not be so nice? And you know, are you safe from that sort of thing and protected, or is that something you have to think about?
No, because if from a soul level we're all connected through the soul, at that level, we shouldn't have a problem with any of the entities that would like to manifest themselves for us or with us within the environment, because it is a very benign environment. Mr. Keshe has often said that even people who are such takers, you can call them that are not good people, will not want to go into that machine. They will feel almost an aversion to the machine, and therefore they will not be able to come. And it would be the same for any entities that would be in a slightly different energetic state. They would also have that problem, because if you are not in that state of love, you're not going to connect with that state of love. So you will not be there. It is the law of attraction in a sense, as you say, and because you have to match to attach. That's another kind of law. If you do not match, you don't attach. And it's the same as people saying to me, oh, they're an empath and they feel all this terrible stuff because all these other people feel this terrible stuff. And yes, you do, and you can, and you're a caring, wondrous person, but you have to understand that you have to tune yourself to the point where that stuff doesn't attach. You can still see it, you can still sense it, and you can still help others with it, but it doesn't have to debilitate you. So when people say, oh, I want to block the negative energy, the trick is not to block the negative energy. The trick is to allow it to pass through you without touching. And that's inclusive of any of these energies that we're talking about. That it can pass through without harming. If that makes sense. Anybody else? Okay. Any questions from the audience in the Zoom? Let me just have a look here. There are chats. If anybody's asking anyone, no questions. You can unmute your microphone if you need to ask a question, people. I know everybody's waiting for Mr. Keshe. It is still 5 to 3, so we've got a little bit of time. I will be reminding him shortly.
Lisa.
So this machine, have I got somebody there?
Yeah, Lisa, Antonio.
Yes, Antonio, I can hear you.
Yep. When it comes to transportation, in the physical sense, we know we're talking about soul transport through the soul, but when you're, say, a container of goods going from London to New York, that will be a different setup, wouldn't it? That's going to be a physical flight, is that right?
Yes. Okay, so it was asked if in a physical sense container loads of goods can go from London to New York.
Yeah.
Yes, if you as a being are the pilot and you are in this container, which is another, you need to switch that other off. If you are in that container of that capsule, which is another being, and you have goods in it, you will be able to literally encapsulate it in an energy form and move it from a place to a place. So yes, it is actual physical flight. Sorry, I'm a bit confused here because we've got some sound issues going on. I'll be able to. Okay.
Thank you.
So yes, there is the system of physical flight, which will be hopefully in the next few months, as all of these tweaks are done, there will be that physical flight. There will also be the system whereby at the moment where you're literally in one place and are somewhere else physically at the same time. So I don't know what the language for that would be. I don't know if there is a term for that. Bilocation. Okay, so you would be in a bilocated state and in two places at once. And then also you could possibly be in one place, set your GPS coordinates, and demanifest in one place and remanifest somewhere else. These are all different modes of travel, which he is hopefully, with all the tweaks made and the different machines, he'll be able to do all those three things.
Is that the mobile system with the mobile?
Yes, I would expect that would be the mobile system that is being advertised, where he's looking for 200 people, which will be in a few months' time, to start with that kind of a system, which can come and fetch you, take you, and send you back, literally, physically. So it is quite confusing because there are sort of three things going on at once, and which they are testing for in the systems, but all those three are possible. Any other questions from our audience on Zoom?
Yeah, it's Kingsley from Brisbane. Are these eventually going to be made available to the likes of you and me?
As far as I understand, these systems will be available for more for government at first, because they have to be offered, because if they aren't offered, then there's a problem with, oh, you're needing passports from going here to there. So if we put one in an airport here and one in an airport there, and you demanifest here and then you remanifest there, then we can control you. So obviously it has to be offered and see how it goes. But I think it will all depend on how governments actually respond to this. And my hope is that they ignore it for long enough for us to tweak the systems to the point where they're going great guns, because then we don't need them. But maybe they still will have their nose in there and poking into our business to know what's going on. So it's going to take time, I think, in terms of a couple of years yet to really come out into the main public. But give it 10, 20 years, and who knows, we might all have one in our house. And maybe our house won't even be here, which would be cool. I'm ready to become more of a planetary citizen instead of a specific citizen of one nationality. Anybody else? Sorry, I'm just tapping Mr. Keshe on the shoulder. Clicking. Okay. Any other participants would like to ask a question? I think most of our Zoom participants are other languages. We might have a bit of an issue. Anyone in the room? Why does it have to go first with the government? Isn't it risky? He always invites the governments first and gives them an opportunity. Okay, the lady asked, why would he go with the governments? Isn't it risky? And one always has to offer and let them decide. All his offers have gone unanswered anyway. But because he's open and he offers, they can't accuse him of doing anything behind the scenes. There was another hand up. Yes.
Similar question. The mobile phone that came out in the 70s, when you were actually the public never got to see it until 2010. So something like this, it's feel it's a bit naive to say we'll have access to it.
The participant here was saying that it's naive for us to think that normal people might have access to this technology because the mobile phone was developed in the 1970s, but it took 40 odd years to come out. Well, I think the reason that Mr. Keshe is constantly sharing this out in public with his knowledge seeker workshops every Thursday and having groups set up like ourselves to test and try things, although we don't get to test and try the really heavy stuff, we can feel for ourselves and we know for ourselves. Hopefully there's enough out there that we'll shout and scream if it doesn't come out. And the knowledge will be able to sort of bubble to the surface. With a lot of these technologies beforehand, what happened is people wanted the patent, they wanted to hold on to it, they wanted a lot of money for it. What did they do? They bought them out, they shut them down, and everything was silent. So hopefully if one offers, and we are more, as Mr. Keshe is more giving, to show and explain this technology to the man in the street that can go and make his own GANs and play with the different aspects of the technology and feel something, they find it more difficult to shut it down. That's our only hope. And we have to actually hope, and we have to work towards that angle. We can't, you know, it might take a lot longer, but hopefully not. Anyone else? Yes, Susan. Yes, okay, so yeah. Yes, so it was mentioned that eventually we can do this without the machine, and that is the point. If many of the participants who go through the system in the interim become elevated through their soul and can teach other people how to do these things without the machine, then it's not necessary. The machine is the training wheels. It's always been the training wheels. So, and the point is always to get the training wheels off. So we just have to be shown. We are babies at this point and we have to be shown. Yes.
12 years ago, I was part of a esoteric school, an American life, women. And we used to do discipline. One of the disciplines was bioeducation.
Yes. So yes, you had tested this bilocation.
Well,
Yeah. Or tried.
actually, I tried, but I wasn't able, but there were people that were able to do it.
The point is with these machines is it's giving everybody the opportunity because it's giving us all the energies we need to be able to actually cope with that. So it's giving us that helping hand up the ladder, so to speak, but it's not the ladder itself, it's just the helping hand up the ladder. And so yes, the trick is to be able to do all these things for ourselves and for all of us to participate and feel the elevation to get to that point where we don't need, and to then share it with others. The only way we'll get to that point is to share it with others. If we don't share, it doesn't grow. And if it doesn't grow, we're not getting anywhere. Any other questions? Okay.
Going to dimension, like third, the fourth dimensions.
You see, it's all language. We talk about third dimensional, fourth dimensional. There are multiple dimensions in the universe. And we see physically what we see, but it's only 3% of what's out there. So if we can see when we talk about plasma, we see things in energetic strength. So the physical state is of the lowest energetic strength, and emotion, for example, or knowledge that we share would be of a different energetic strength, whereas creator and source is of the highest energetic strength. So it's all just language. And so we just need to figure out the universal language to explain it all. You know, my vibration is your frequency and somebody else's energetic strength. That's why we try and talk about it in the strength of energies, because it can be, when you talk about vibration and you go and look in the dictionary, it talks about a physical thing. So we're not talking necessarily about a physical thing. So we like to call it an energetic strength. And I see Mr. Keshe. So that is why we try and talk plasma language instead of other language, so people can translate across different languages using similar technology, but it's then the same. So I'm going to plug in my loudspeaker. So hopefully Mr. Keshe can hear us and we can hear Mr. Keshe. So Mr. Keshe, can you hear us?
Yes, good morning or good evening. I don't know what the time is with you.
Thank you. It's afternoon tea time. It's great to have you with us. We've got about 30 people, maybe 20, 30 people in the hall, and we've got another 20, 30 people online, maybe more. And we'd love to hear a bit of an update from this week and how things are going.
We are
and
not.
what's going on.
We are not spying. No, we are not telling you anything just because you think you can't. You know, I'm going to tell you everything. No, no. How are you anyway? Good morning or good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Well, yes, we can hear you fine.
Yeah. What do you want to know? Update will be tonight. Tonight we will release, what do you call it, 3 or 4 people who went through, because a lot of people go through the system, they don't want to go on camera. But they write full experience on documents which are given to them. They write there what they felt, what they did, where they went. But maybe we see out of every 10, about 3 or 4 people maybe would like to go on camera to explain what they went through. And we had a beautiful experience yesterday. We had a multiple landing on the same place in different machines and different times. And you will see it. It's very short. People don't like to be there. Few people like to be long. They just want to speak. And I think 3, maybe 4 people were recorded yesterday. But we've done some amazing, strange things, because our purpose is not just what you call going somewhere. The process is the transmutation of objects, which we started yesterday. And we see some, what you call it, we need to do some adoption and be able to bring things back. When we give objects to people, they take it with them and they are aware of it, and they can put things in it or deliver the thing. But when we reverse the system, we have to adopt our system in the next couple of weeks. We're expecting it to be done next month, but we are early so we can push forward with it. But in principle, you will see even people in we don't ask anybody. The only thing we do, we let them go through the process when they are ready. In a way, preparation is done when they are in a process of going. We ask them do whatever you like. And then we asked them if they want to fly. 4 out of 10 refuse to fly. They don't want to fly. They say we didn't come here for that objective. We came here for a different purpose. Flying has no meaning. We don't want to live there. And we see composition of different behavior. And majority, 8 out of 10 cry in the system. They emotionally get touched. And we see tears. This now the first day was a bit strange, but second day it's become normal. It is a very interesting time. Very interesting time. Maybe in next few weeks, we'll go through the full transportation. We have to adjust. This system needs a lot of adjusting. We have now moved into space structure, which means we do not need the systems to go into very soon. You walk into the space of the room, which we developed, and we stood 4 people in the room, then 5, and they can all travel the same way together. So we created the feeling. At this earlier stages, we have to learn it. Now we hear the communication between the systems as they interact. And it's a very, I was communicating with the people from NASA, the head of communication, what they call it, for some of the missions of the NASA. That's why I was late a bit. And looking into how, what the next step is, how people convert to the environment. Conversion was one of our biggest fear. It is emotional, but conversion is that they adapt to the environment. If we see them that in a liquid environment, they change into like a fish because that's the only way they know how to convert. But it's a different way. I think you heard from the German lady, but with a strong attachment, it's the one to be connected to physicalities. She says she's like a mermaid. She says half herself, and then she becomes a fish when she accepts the environment. We see a lot of things. Yesterday we had one of the most emotional time with 2 of the participants. You hear it today, I think, in the tape. He came not to fly. We didn't know when the session was over. He took a long time in the system. But his emotion, strength, is coming back for a second, because we know when people achieve one, they can do multiple the same position to strengthen and to lose their fear. And we done that with the pilots. We landed him 4 times with different machines, different positions. He's tuned to the system. He can immediately take off to the same position where he wants to be. And now we learned a lot. And one of the participants here tonight, we didn't know till it was over. His wish was to see Christ. And he says he feels the emotion, and he explains in the tape in German, where he saw the soul of Christ as a light. And we asked him, what was your wish when you came, when you entered the system? And his answer was very simple. He said, he's one of the old knowledge seekers. He goes back a long time. We didn't know him. He just had to be there. He came with his wife. And he said, I came with a wish to see Christ. And not for myself, for you, Mr. Keshe. I said, what do you mean? He said, I know the technology is correct, and I want to prove to people it's true what you say. And I saw the light. And he describes you the mountain where he saw whatever as a light. And he says he felt the presence of it. But listen to it tonight. I don't know. I didn't listen to the recording because when we are running the system, the studio is on the other side. And we had a couple, she's again on the records tonight, where again, one of the old knowledge seekers, they've been following the foundation over 10 years, 12 years. And she explains she goes to a space that she sees the most beautiful women, and a lot of all beautiful women. And she asks her, who are you? She says, I'm Mitra. And they explain to her what needs to be done, whatever. And it's becoming an amazing experience going through emotion with these people. And we don't ask them anything before they come in. What their wishes are. We only get to know after they've gone. Sometimes they take up to 2 hours in the system. And it's interesting what is coming up and how things are developing. And we have a strange group of 10 or 20 Italians next week and the week after coming in with their wines and guitars and their pizzas. They want to have a party on the moon. So we're preparing the room for them. And hopefully we'll see what they bring for us. It's a very interesting. We shocked NASA scientists in what is being achieved. And as I said in teaching yesterday, we have requests from the location position of both Mars and Apollo landing to see it, confirm what it is. If we can add to, or if we can bring back to. This is a reality of technology. It's not a
Mr. Keshe, can you just, could you please just put your mic a little bit away from your mouth because you're being a little bit muffled.
Oh, I cannot do. Is it better now?
Okay, yeah. There we go.
It's a headphone hanging. It goes wherever he likes. I have no control over it. It's like our people in the space unit. Anyway, this you'll see tonight at 6 o'clock Central European time. We play some of the videos. We explain the position, and again we have a flight on Monday and Wednesday. And the following week again, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, the following after that. We're getting fully booked. People from all over the world are coming in, from South America to, what do you call it, all over Europe and North America. They're just flying in to be part of the experience.
Mr. Keshe, there are quite a few people who are a little bit confused about the different techniques, and because it all seems a bit confusing for people in terms of, are we planning to take that spaceship, or is it almost like you here and you there? Is it that you actually move from here to there and come back again? If you could just explain a little bit as to what you envisage for those kind of things in the future.
It's a new development, it's a new technology, it's a new knowledge, not a technology. It's a science of creation. It's not science of man that you get into a plane and you go. It's the way the universe works, the way your body works. You have the physical body, but you have the soul. The whole understanding goes what we said years ago, and now we can prove it. It's very strange because we are doing tests at that, which we cannot reveal at the moment because we have to do a lot of things around it to do it. You go to bed, you go to sleep, you dream. Some of the dreams you remember, you have no choice on your dream. Because the soul goes very once. Because now we know, as I always say, you can't have a solar system without the sun in the center. The sun of our solar system is not outside another galaxy, and we rotate ourselves. So the principle is the center of everything, even the creator is in the center of the universe. He's not outside watching what is happening because he's there at the center. So the center of the man, the soul of the man, has to be in the center of the body of the man, which is in the brain. And if we always said a plasma, a gas, can only expand to the size of the room we give it. Now, if now we have confined our sun, the soul, in the center of the brain, now we know where it is, to the size of the brain by restriction of the blood circulation. We literally, it's a tokamak. We have a plasma by magnetic field of the blood, which got iron in it. We confine it to its position, and whatever we get out of its reflections becomes emotions, pain, happiness, whatever, in different part, according to its strength. Now, with this technology, we literally override, if you look at it that way, the strength of the blood circulation. So the soul is free, it's opened up, it takes a new dimension. But we connect our system to inside and outside. It's developed deliberately this way, that we connect to the field, the strength of the earth and the cosmic field. So the soul can expand, has no restriction of the blood circulation. Now we understand this fully, it's not theoretical. So how we adjust our system, if you look at the pictures of the enhancement unit, it's white, you see the white dome. We realize we have a problem with the white dome. It's made of materials. So it's like a filter. It's like you put a sieve and say you want the rice to go through, but you don't want the peas to go through. And that's what it was. So now we change the construction. It's open space in the new system of light. So nothing is the stock. So we have given it freedom because we saw restrictions in development of the old system. Material, feel the strength resistance. And now you're open. You don't need to dream. If you don't tell yourself, I'm going to dream of my mother tonight and I'm going to go see mother. You don't have that choice. Now with this technology, you have that choice. We had presence of people in the flight room in past few days, literally father who's died some time ago and the mother helping with things in the room. Very clear. These are not imaginations anymore. And when deliberately we bring 3 or 4 people, we take them out of the machine in the open space of the room because we set it up this way and we see they all go through. So in a way, up to now, us as a human body, we confined the soul, we encaged it. I always said, go back to my writing 20 years ago, the body of the man is a leech attached itself to the soul of the man, which is in the center. We have imprisoned our soul. And religious people have abused this. Now we know the soul, the sun, whatever name you want to call it, is in the center of the system. We can allow it the freedom. We can allow it to be free. But the interesting thing is, all the people who go through the system, they tell you when they go to the process of getting prepared to go through the flight system, we call it, they tell you, especially when they get to the 3rd seat, that they feel that the energy inside them opens beyond their physicality, which means for the first time the soul engages the physical body. And we get that very strongly. Now we know we achieved it. There's no shadow of that. But the beauty with it is, I stay outside. I don't connect with them at the moment in the energy or what thinking level, because we want to confirm a lot of things needs to be done. I request, or we ask them to move or to go from one chair to another. They just physically get up and go and sit, but they don't remember when going sometimes, which means we communicate with the physical dimension. Physical dimension, in a way, informs the soul to move. Now we see communication is possible. People will tell you, maybe you hear it, I don't know what they recorded on the TV side, on the camera side of the studio. But I was talking to the people from NASA this morning. We don't see need for a spacesuit. People going to certain places tell us the same changes. And when we change the environment, or we change the command that the physicality has to listen, what the soul has to do, they see themselves on the earth dimension. It's so instantaneous. It's so instantaneous. When we talk to them, they see their hand. When they go back to the mission, they were the change compared to the environment they're in, with the hair, or with legs, or with lungs, or behave like a fish, because man has not gotten to see the other ways to live. They've seen other things, we're just expanding on it. So it's a very strange way, the way, you know, we do something and we say, oh, my soul heard. Now we tell the physicality what we want the soul, or what the soul to tell the physicality what to do in the system. The game of the space technology and man has changed beyond that, without that. Now we're talking, we have put 25 people through the system in 2 days. We will reach 1,000 by the end of this summer, the way we see the booking coming in. And we just don't want to do just putting people through. We want to understand. That's why we have restricted it to 2 days. We need to analyze. We need to understand. And maximum 10, 12 people a day. It took us from 9 o'clock till 7 o'clock last night, nearly 10 hours to put 10 people through. Some people don't want to come out, do not want to. They all look for whatever. We have a gentleman who's been blind. We didn't know. He came in to see if he can change his blindness. We don't know what happened. We came with that wish. We were not aware of it until he was leaving. And he said, I'm blind in one eye through a stroke 6 years ago. And yesterday he came back and he said, I see, first of all, the first day when we put him through the system in a different way, his wife said, you have tears in your eye. I said, why? What's the problem? He's emotional. He said, no, this eye has not had tear for 6 years. Something happening. He came back yesterday. He said, my whole eye, the side of my face by the eye always been black. For the first time, there's blood in it. And I get all the twitches. And I don't see black as a black. It's like a gray, blackish. It's changed. And I said, we are in a space system. You decide what you want to do. We don't ask if you've got a heart patient, a heart problem, you have blindness, you have a cancer, whatever. When we get on the planes to go from Australia to New Zealand or to United States, people they know they're going from New Zealand to United States to go for an eye operation or a cancer operation. It's theirs. We follow the same procedure. We don't intervene. It's nothing to do with us. As long as you don't have a prosthesis piece of metal in you, which we think would be not suitable for us because we don't have the facility for it in our system yet. We have the knowledge, but we don't facilitate it. It's your decision what you do. People come in, they don't want to fly. They tell me, I said to them in the system, would you like to start flying? He says, no, we haven't come here to fly. I've come here to see my children. Yesterday, a guy, extremely intelligent, you see him on recording. He said, I haven't come here to fly, Mr. Keshe. While he's in the machine, and he's in the, what we call solar. And he said, I came here to understand something. And you see him, he's a very tall guy, he speaks in English, the broadcast tonight. Then you see what he came here for. But he still managed to achieve the flight without him wanting. Or he came for an adoption. And it's a strange situation, but our team are getting shocked with what's coming out because they're not used to it and emotionally get involved. And for some people, it's beyond what they came in for. They can't handle it. The guy yesterday, he said, I could not believe I can touch the soil of the moon, but it just flows through me. And when he went to go on a camera, he got so emotional. He says, no, I don't. And he just walked out. He said, this is so real. It's beyond imagination that it can be done. A highly educated man, a very, very highly educated man. He said, he just walked out. He wrote his message, says, I write it, but I can't. It's overtaken me, the emotion of the reality of what is going on. We had another lady the same. It's not a dream. It's something, it's a reality of science and technology, understanding the next step in science. We will try next few days in trial, pre-arrange meeting between whatever, whoever, before they come in. In Australia, you organize with someone in New York. I come for a lunch and we'll see if you appear on the lunch. It's very interesting.
Mr. Keshe, could you explain a little bit to people how not only are people gaining something from going in these systems, or they're also giving, and how the system is learning and you are learning as this progresses, and how eventually the whole knowledge of all the different creatures on the planet will be integrated into the systems.
We are building a Wikipedia of the planet Earth. Humans, animals, plants. That's why people come with the dogs and wines. Once, because of our research in the past, this is not just something we talk a lot of. If you're really knowledge seekers, we have what we call orange in the cup. Many of you have done the test. You can keep an orange outside. But if you create the right condition in the cup, you can taste the cup, take the energy of the orange. You have the taste of the orange, emotion of drinking the orange. You can choose anything you like. So we understand this is been a test done. You can buy the kit from the Keshe Foundation, what do you call it, sales room. Understanding that, we just expanding on the knowledge which we developed physically over 30, 40 years. And so everything is done on scientific basis. We are not a, what do you call it, sect or whatever. If we are a sect, so whoever follows Tesla is a sect too. Whoever follows Edison and use different kind of transmissions, batteries, so you're a cult. If you go to, you have a heart problem, you go to a doctor to get an open heart surgery, you're a cult. We are a scientific organization. And everything we do is scientific. Equipment built, system down. We don't think and theorize. Now we have developed, we have understood the process of the creation, how life created on this planet. I made creatures for nearly 15, 20 years. They travel around in boxes with me. Everybody knows, because we create a condition of life. You do it yourself in your boxes you create. But if you know as much as I know, you create the right condition, you give life. So we have understood the process of creation in the universe, not on the planet. And we build systems to confirm the process. And this is another part of confirmation. Everybody for years told us, oh, this is all fake, this is all this, Mr. Keshe does that. No, because you got stuck in the pieces while we were putting the jigsaw together. But we showed you pieces of jigsaw. Now the jigsaw is put together. Now we're adjusting how to, fit into the frame of work. And anybody can do it. It is not anymore Mr. Keshe. We are building 2 to 4 of these systems a month from now. It's on offer for 25 million euros. It is not cheap. We already received orders. Hopefully get it solidified in the next few weeks for 5 and 10 units around the world. You can have a unit anywhere, and you can at the moment, what we see, go from Australia to New Zealand or to New York if somebody has a machine. We have what we call legal structures which we have to sort out before we go into that step. We are an Austrian-based space technology registered company, so we have to inform Austrian authorities. They already know what we are doing, to appoint custom officers within the center, flight center. What happens if I bring you from New Zealand here, or our people leave from here and end up in New Zealand? How did you come into the country illegally? There's a lot of things needs to be done. If I transport, the people are coming with their dogs because we ask where they come with their fish. They want to bring the plants with them. It's the wine. The Italians are coming with all sorts of things with us. The Germans are coming with all sorts of things. Can I bring my dog next time? I want to go with my dog to see how it looks on the space of the moon or somewhere else. What are the quarantine restrictions? People we see, they tell you that they see others who they are in touch with. What happened when we can bring them back in? What kind of space do we need for them? It's a reality. We are not a movie. It is very, very real. It's systems to produce it. We just don't think about it. We have developed it to target this. When we produced gold, zinc, and copper and nickel from the interaction of the fields without any mining, we had to send it to the Chinese authorities to test them, and to the labs in Austria and in Germany to confirm the production of the material. Now is a reality. That's why when we tell you we'll go to the moon, we can bring a stone back, because we have the system to convert the energies of transportation into matter state. It's part of it. We don't want to show the system inside any videos, but yesterday when we watched the gentlemen, so when they went to the moon and to bring the rock, we see them by the hand, they grab it and we tell them where to put it in the box. They come in and they put it in the box and they go for the next stone. When we give them a cup, they take the cup on the lap and they go and say, oh, this cup, I had whiskey in this one, and I have a wine, the other one, or water in the other one. We tell them, can you put some of the dust of the moon in the cup? We see them physically, they actually grab and they put in the thing. Now we have put these cups into conversion system to see by Monday if we can convert them to sand. These are not anymore sci-fi units, films. This is the reality of science. It's amazing. We don't, it's deliberate. We allow no interference in the flight zone. And we see people, when we ask them, can you take this cup? And we see them. It's not in their thoughts. They physically take their hands and they put the sands in the cups. We give them a spoon or whatever they give the spoon. We say, if you see anyone, give them as a gift. Especially yesterday when we asked for collection of stones on the moon, and we put a space, we would say we want it here. They pick it up and with the hand they go into the box and they drop it again and again, not just once. It's us now. We have a conversion system. We see how we can convert it now. We put the cups in a conversion system, see if we can get the dust or the stone. How long would it be? What do we need to adjust to get it? We saw weaknesses in testing in the past 2 days. Now our team in the lab, with the beauty of this, we have a test center, we have a manufacturing production line, and we have a development all in one place. So immediately what is needed, the people in the development and in the manufacturing are there. They're changing some things we found out in the first flight. So units were made to be ready. It's a massive mammoth job. And it gets adopted what's on the system for yesterday. Now we saw other things. It'll be adopted for next week. It's an amazing time in the world of science and technology. It's not a dream anymore, it's a reality. We're there. And we are teaching knowledge seekers to take over. We have people we know, part of our development, research development people. They've been with us for years. Now they're moving into the control room. Now they're moving into the flying zone because I can't be there all the time, every day. So knowledge seekers are learning how to handle, how we are training people, how to be in the control room, what to look for, how to interact, expand in knowledge and confidence. Out of the 25 people who've been through the system up to now, I think all of them are coming back. They want to come back second time. Can we try more? Because it's the way we engage the soul, now the soul is expanded. And the soul wants to teach the physicality, see what you miss with engaging. It's a very clear understanding of the people who go through the system. They all speak about the expansion of the fields from their body out, that the body now is in a capsule. As a lady called it, a bubble in the reports of last week. They all speak about this bubble, this now physicality is inside the soul. But in a way we can communicate with both ways because I talk to what needs to be done or what we would like to see. And we have people who do not want to get out of the system. We have problems in a way. Can you please move on? The whole thing. No, I'm where I am. I want to be where I am, and this is how I want it to be. But these are the first tries. As I said, we had our first man landing on the moon as Armstrong, but this time is a reality. It's not our reality, it's the reality of science and technology. And soon, what we see, we would like to see what the Italians do when they come with their wines, their pizzas, and their cheese, and their olives, and their dogs, and their guitars. They're really planning a big party, Italians, in their flight zone. And we allow them because we have to understand what it is. We'll see what time it is.
Can we take a couple of questions, Mr. Keshe?
Yeah.
Come and stand here. You need to speak into the mic.
Has other civilizations done it before, this type of thing, like the Egyptians in the pyramids or something like that?
We don't know. We'll find out. The knowledge of creation is not exclusivity of man and today. When we become arrogant to say that, we have come to the point of stop learning and knowledge of creation. And when we say we are the only ones at Keshe Foundation, blah, blah, anybody tells you that, just, as I said, pin them against the wall and tell them, wake up, guy. Now we know the truth, everybody is the same. There are other generations, there are other creations which have gone through the development of the understanding the process of creation, and they were far ahead of us or they were far behind us, and there are new races getting developed in random universe. They'll be in our position after they may be in 1 billion years, or they might be in our position in 2 days if they take the path of the energy. We took the path of material, matter state. We want cars, we want stones, we want homes. If we would have gone through where a lot of people understood, but some people abused it and stuck it to them, if we would have gone the path of theology, understanding of the soul, not the way we see today as religion. Theology in the theory of the creation, the true creation with magnetic fields, you don't need to build a car or whatever. So our generations in the past decided to go to the matter state. And some people who understood the work of the fields of the universe called it theology, created religion, and screwed all us up with the names of different religions. And then they themselves, because the guy on the top understood, but the others abused it. And even that some of the ones who understood, calling them the prophets, they were actually after profit, not profit. Gathering wealth, getting people to be kings and the rest of it. But now the knowledge is there, and it's not the exclusivity of Iranians, the Chinese, or Egyptians, or man from the planet Mars who come in the UFO, or the rest of it. It's a knowledge of creation. Has been there from the beginning of time, and will be till the time the creation comes to some sort of grind or whatever the next phase will be. It's not Egyptians or some people became intelligent to see what we see now, but they had no communication. They got stuck in their place, and maybe they did some things with it. Possible. Did some people who understood this in other dimensions of the universe happen to be traveling, landed on Earth, and thought, oh, look at these animals, what they do. Let's teach them a little bit here, and they're very happy. Give them a piece of paper and a pen, let them scratch it. Where we have computers, we don't need pen and paper. And our people abuse that pen and paper. We never understood it, or partially understood it. This knowledge has never been extra time and space. It is the maturity of the man, of creatures' understanding of the creation. That's all.
Does anybody in the Zoom have any questions?
Thank you very much for having me. I have no questions. I hope you enjoy your conference.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thanks very much for participating. And we love you from Australia here. We support everything that you're doing. And
you are doing. It's coming very soon. And what you've done, bringing the knowledge without churches and others to dictate what we need to do. You're learning raw. And you're developing it. Then you're going through the space and putting jigsaw together. It's a beautiful time for what is to come, what we see. And the beauty of it is we taught many people. Keshe Foundation now, we've been told very recently, we passed over 500 million listeners and followers around the world. And so we see it was not kept. As I said, it took Christ nearly 300 years to pass a minute. Keshe Foundation in the 15 years has passed 4 or 5 by knowledge. And there is no temple, there is no, what do you call it, hierarchy. Everybody is the same, even me, I'm a knowledge. Thank you very much, Lisa. Wish you a good conference. And watch
Thank you,
the
Mr. Keshe.
recordings in the next few weeks as we release the days before of what just summarized. Thank you very much, Lisa. Thanks to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thanks everybody for participating online. We're going to carry on in person here, and so I'm going to switch off the Zoom. Thank you all for participating.